What's up, movie fans? Back with another recap. Today we're going to be taking a look at a drama film from 2019. I hope you're ready for it. The movie starts in Russia, where a family of three is having a pleasant time by a river. Young Sergei Alyoshkov, the youngest of them, brags to his older brother and mother about his tree climbing skills. Suddenly, German fighter jets roar overhead, startling them. The mother urges the kids to hide, but fearless 6-year-old Sergei takes a slingshot and incredibly manages to hit the jets, causing them to explode. However, when he turns around, his family is gone. Sergei awakens from this haunting dream, calling for his mother, but a neighbor rushes in, explaining that his mother and brother perished in a German attack. Confused and refusing to accept this, Sergei is told to flee as soldiers approach. The neighbor is tragically shot before she can escape with him. Now orphaned and alone, the 6-year-old embarks on a harrowing journey, fleeing his burning neighborhood and wandering into the woods. In the forest, Sergei desperately cries out for his mother, but she doesn't appear. He spends a terrifying night alone. The next day, he drinks from a river when enemy soldiers draw near. Realizing the danger, Sergei hides within the roots of a tree. Despite encountering a snake, he remains silent, more fearful of the soldiers. When they eventually depart, Sergei scavenges their leftover food for sustenance. Starving and disoriented, he's been on the move with no clear destination. Exhausted, he collapses but pushes himself onward. He stumbles upon wild berries, providing a momentary respite, but an explosion rattles him. Dazed and hallucinating, he encounters an imaginary figure trailing him. In his weakened state, Sergei bravely confronts this imagined foe, revealing he's unafraid despite his predicament. Eventually, he succumbs to exhaustion and loses consciousness. While asleep, 2 soldiers discover him. The scene shifts to a Russian army base, where Commander Kuznetsov awaits his patrol soldiers. They return with Sergei, injured and frail. Claiming they've allied with the boy, they introduce him, and the soldiers quickly bond with him. They tend to his needs, offering food and care. Even the commander, typically stoic, becomes fond of the child. A nurse named Katya treats Sergei's wounds and is charmed by his spirit. He requests a tank to be drawn on his wounds, expressing his dream of becoming a soldier. The injured soldiers interact with him, lifting their spirits. Sergei is intrigued by the commander's pistol and badge, leading to a friendly exchange. He proudly displays the tank drawing on his belly, considering himself a soldier. Sergei's rapid recovery amazes everyone, and his presence brings joy to the base. Katya urges the commander to let Sergei stay with the battalion, but he's concerned for the boy's safety and intends to send him to an orphanage. Nonetheless, the soldiers warmly embrace Sergei, sharing meals and leisure time. They even let him handle their binoculars and firearms, minus the bullets. Sergei forms a strong connection with the commander and shares his aspirations. The boy's infectious spirit touches the soldiers' hearts. However, the commander remains adamant about sending Sergei to an orphanage, much to Katya's disappointment. Sergei's presence becomes a source of camaraderie and warmth among the troops. One day, a soldier approaches the commander with a request to let Sergei stay with the battalion, setting the stage for a pivotal decision. The soldiers have grown a close connection with the kid and think of him as their own. His presence takes the weight of war off their chest. However, the commander is adamant about sending the boy to the orphanage for his safety. The following day, the enemies attack, and many soldiers are hurt. A vehicle comes to fetch Sergei to take him to the orphanage. The commander breaks the news to the kid and gives him a wooden honorary pistol as a gift. The boy in turn hugs him, claiming that he is scared for the commander's safety. The commander melts in his embrace and changes his mind. He asks Sergei to stay with the soldiers as his son. That night, the soldiers look for little soldier clothes for the little boy. They are over the moon to have Sergei stay with them. The commander wakes Sergei up and gives him the clothes. He wears them and runs around looking like a real soldier. The others start calling him their little soldier boy. As the kid runs around, the Germans launch an air attack on the battalion. The soldiers quickly take Sergei to a safe place and fight the others. The number of injured soldiers grows rapidly. Sergei wants to make himself useful, so he brings water to thirsty soldiers. So there's this heartwarming scene where one of the soldiers, with a bandage over his eyes, asks young Sergei to read a letter from his family. Now, Sergei can't read, but he decides to have some fun with it. He takes the letter and starts making up stories, like telling the soldier his cow back home is just fine. The thing is, the soldier doesn't even have a cow, but the others play along and have a good laugh. Sounds hilarious. Later on, we get a glimpse of some potential romance. Katya, the nurse, and the commander seem to have a thing for each other, but they're keeping it hush-hush. Then, Sergei gets all excited and starts introducing himself as the battalion's orderly, which is pretty adorable. But then, he witnesses the aftermath of an attack on one of the soldiers' stations. The commander teaches him about paying respects and taking off his hat for the fallen soldier. Sergei's eager to help out, so he asks for a mission. They put him in charge of distributing letters among the soldiers, and he does it with enthusiasm, even getting the soldiers to dance for him. One day he's out playing with his binoculars and spots something fishy in a haystack. He rushes back to the battalion, and despite their doubts, they follow him. Turns out German spies are hiding in there. Sergei's a hero and everyone's pretty impressed. Now, here's where it gets heartwarming. The commander shows Sergei some adoption papers. Yep, he's officially the kid's dad now. Sergei knows the commander's sweet on Katya, so he decides to play matchmaker and take him to confess his feelings. But, oops, they see Katya chatting with another guy and get the wrong idea. Things take a serious turn when the base is attacked again. Sergei steps up, supplying ammo to the soldiers on the front line, but they send him back to safety. Back at the shed, Sergei discovers a broken phone line to the colonel. A soldier sent to fix it gets hurt, and Sergei, this brave little guy, takes matters into his own hands. What a boy. He fixes the connection and reinforcements are called in. He pretty much saves the day. But wait, there's more. The commander finally spills the beans to Katya about his feelings and asks her to be Sergei's mom. She's thrilled, but before she can respond, they get some orders. The soldiers are off to a new base, Sergei and all. But on their way, they stumble upon a dangerous minefield that wrecks some of their vehicles. Oh, the irony. So things take a pretty serious turn. The commander gets hurt, and it's heartbreaking because the orderly, whom Sergei was super close to, doesn't make it. Sergei's in tears and he hugs the commander tight. They carry the injured folks with them and soldier on to their new base. Finally, they reach the new base, and there they meet the big boss, the general. Even he's super impressed with the kid's smarts and ambition. He congratulates the commander for having such an incredible kid. The next day, their division, and you guessed it, Sergei too, get a prestigious honor, a guard's banner. When the general hands Sergei a badge, he promises to defend his country. Now, here comes another intense moment. One night, their base gets attacked big time, and the commander gets trapped under some rubble. Sergei's heartbroken and calls for help. The other soldiers rush to the rescue and manage to get the commander out. The following day, Sergei comes up to the wounded commander, his hands bearing injuries from his efforts to rescue the officer. Days roll on and Sergei becomes like family to the team. He doesn't have anyone else besides them, so he sticks with them no matter where they go in the chaos of war. The movie wraps up as the regiment heads to yet another base. Sergei's story doesn't stop there. He goes on to take part in the brutal Stalingrad battle, marches all the way to Poland with the soldiers, and becomes known as the world's youngest soldier ever. His legendary tale of bravery is known all across the globe. What a journey. All right, folks. Here's the million-dollar question. Which part of Sergei's extraordinary adventure in this movie struck a chord with you the most? Share your thoughts down below. And hey, Don't miss out on the movie details in the description. There's more cinematic gold waiting for you there. Now how about giving that subscribe button a friendly tap, tossing us a thumbs up and ringing that notification bell? You'll be our VIP in the world of movies. And trust me, we've got some blockbuster flicks lined up just for you. So stay tuned, fellow film enthusiasts. Peace out.